which is yet to even buy a helicopter to operate, fly the flag of Ghana. I think we can do better when NDC comes to government. Interchanges. Indeed, President Mahama have shown evidence of interchanges that have been actually built and completed. Circle is not far away from here, and many more. The question is, the 20 interchanges the NPP promised that they will deliver before the end of this year. We all know that they only were able to manage a flyover in Tamale under Sino Hydro. As we speak, almost all those projects that we even handed over to them, including Flower Port flyover into, how do you call it, East Legon, is still not completed for 8 years. Doesn't need 8 years for you to complete that. So they have failed on that. When it comes to schools, we have built more schools than them. We have built brand new universities. Today, a child can go from Adaklu, go to Ho, and study medicine and become a medical doctor without even stepping foot in Accra, because President Mahama and the NDC has built a brand new school dedicated for medicine. That university only trains people in health-related fields, and this is an achievement. If you go to Sunyani, UNER, and other campuses. So the question is, which university has NPP started and completed in the 8 years? The answer is no, they haven't done any. All they have done is to basically try to rename existing universities, including polytechnics that the NDC have changed to technical universities. So on the field of education, they have failed that one as well. Hospitals, the records are there. Not far from here, you can see that in the Ridge Hospital, people forget that that is not all that Ridge Hospital is supposed to be. Ridge Hospital is supposed to have another phase that will make it even bigger. Rather, what the NPP did was to sink $250 million opposite of Ridge Hospital to build a Bank of Ghana. So for NPP, the building of a Bank of Ghana building is more important than the healthcare of the people of this country. So you know them, what they stand for. The question is, has NPP actually started and built any district hospital for the past 8 years? The answer is no. NPP has not built a single one. The same government that promised that they could build a 120-bed district hospital for 3.5 million, as said by Dr. Baumia, as we pointed out to him, he lied about it. He knows that he cannot do it. If Dr. Baumia can build a 120-bed fit-for-purpose district hospital, I dared him. I would have resigned as an MP, because what they did, it has nothing to do with that. The Agenda 11 projects have all come to a halt because the funding was unsustainable. Many water and electrification project. Majority of communities in Adaklu, speaking for myself, were connected to the national grid under the NDC. Since NPP came to power, the question is, which communities have they connected? In fact, the electricity coverage in our country has actually reduced. Water coverage has reduced because the population is increasing and they are not adding the capacity in there for anything. So, however, in 2025, my brothers and sisters, the President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Baumia government will bequeath to President Mahama a collapsed economy with construction sites littered around the country, with one of the most expensive and useless projects being the expenditure of $58 million on the world's most expensive pit, as Honorable Okudzeto pointed out. Those are the legacies you leave. And not only that, a huge unpaid bills. For instance, the Ghanaian road contractors have a bill of almost 15 billion sitting at the ministries of road and highways, unpaid 15 billion. And these are the things that President Akufo-Addo and Baumia will bequeath to President Mahama in January 2025. A very appalling record indeed. Just to remind our colleagues, in 2016, the last budget of the NDC, the entire appropriation bill was 50 billion. 50 billion was the entire appropriation bill. Salaries, development and everything was 50 billion. And at that time, the NPP queried the NDC's legacy of 1.5 billion cedis of certificates to contractors that were not paid, and also queried an amount of 15 billion, that is all the commitment of government on and road sector. Ladies and gentlemen, by the end of 2016, let me give you an example. You heard President Akufo-Addo talk about they have done 12,000 kilometers of road after they ran away from the fact that they have built 10,000 800 kilometers of new road. We stripped them naked by proving that what President Akufo-Addo said in Parliament in the State of the Nation address was a plain lie. Indeed, they came out to say that they were talking about pothole patching and other things. How they measure pothole patching in kilometers remains unknown till today. But let me give you the record of NDC, the last year of NDC in government. Whilst we were doing, for instance, on the different activities on the trunk road, NDC did activities on 10,738 kilometers of trunk road, 16,138 kilometers of feeder road, and 9,384 kilometers of urban road. Contrast this with the last record of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government in 2023. They could only carry out works on 4,809 kilometers of trunk roads, 8,984 kilometers of feeder road, and a paltry 2,318 kilometers of urban road. Lest we forget, the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government claimed 10,800 kilometers of the so-called new road, totally discredited, as I've already said. Now they are talking about 12,000 kilometers of road. They don't qualify it as new road. They say activities on new road. But let me tell you, this figure is even problematic, because what I've just read to you in terms of what they have done, if you were to add them, it will be more than 12,000 kilometers. So somebody in NPP government does not do proper work, because what they have said is misleading, to say the least. So they have to come back again and explain that. The transformational infrastructure vision of President Mahama from 2025 will be anchored on the rollout of a $10 billion dollar big push policy. The 24-hour economy policy of the NDC will require efficient and effective infrastructure delivery delivered at the value that is meant to be what Ghanaians expect to do. So in furtherance of this, these policies will, one, embark on a $10 billion accelerated infrastructure plan to drive job creation and prioritize the completion of uncompleted and abandoned government infrastructure projects across the country. Revamp the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund to undertake strategic self-financing project for jobs and national transformation. As I already said, this fund was set up by President Mahama. Part of Terminal 3 at Kotoka International Airport, we paid from the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. As we know, that fund is collapsed, and what they have done in recent times is to pay $2 million to SkyTrain and $2.5 million on the botched contract on the Accra-Tema motorway by Motor Angels. Just this last week, I'm told that Motor Angels is saying that nobody paid them $2.5 million for that contract. The question is, the Auditor General said $2.5 million was paid. So if Motor Angel did not receive the $2.5 million, where is the $2.5 million? We'll get to that answer later. The whole airport and others have been created. The other projects which will be done within that period is the Tamale. Any surrounding catchment areas will have the projects that are captured under the big push. Just to speed up because of time, the reconstruction and upgrade and extension of the Eastern Corridor rail line, which is an intermodal project, which will go through the areas that will tap the stranded assets of natural resources in the country. We know the Eastern Corridor would have those projects which will go to, how do you call it, the areas of bauxite and other things. But on the Western Corridor, would also have projects all the way from Takoradi all the way to the northern part of the country with the border with Burkina Faso. The details of why we want to do this will come out in another presentation, but I can give you an example. Currently, Burkina Faso is a landlocked country and claim most of their goods from Tema. The understanding is that if we build an enhanced Takoradi airport and build a rail line from there to a location within our borders, then that could be a dedicated line for them to use. Provide an intercity light rail for Accra and Kumasi. Those details are also all in our manifesto, because Accra is choked and there's no city in the world that has been able to deal with transportation by just leaving everybody on the road. There should be an alternative in terms of that. The rollout of an urban city system in Accra and Kumasi will be part of it. The development of the Sekendi Takoradi Western Line I've already talked about. The other projects that are critical to Accra, if you check the traffic data of Accra, there's a need for us to have a loop. This project has been a project that President Mahama has been working on even in 2016. That is to build a loop around Accra. So from where you see Saglemi currently, there will be a loop all the way to central region after Bujumbura. Basically, it's about 107 kilometers of road, which will basically mean that if a vehicle is coming from Aflau and is probably on the Trans-ECOWAS highway, is going to Côte d'Ivoire, you don't need to go through the traffic situation in Accra. You can detour and use the loop. This project will be a big transformational project. It will also provide opportunity for the city to start growing towards another place, because currently you realize everybody is struggling to live within this area. But this road will provide the opportunity for Accra to grow to other areas, because the infrastructure would have been there already. And so we call it the Accra Orbital Motorway, which is a key part of what President Mahama is promising. And then the Kumasi Orbital project as well is also talked about, the Takoradi Orbital, the Tamale Orbital, and other ones. My brothers and sisters, the other projects that we could talk about under the big push are a lot of projects. Many of them are in the manifesto. I'm talking about this more because I said that the aim of President Mahama is to provide transformational infrastructure project. So he doesn't believe that asphaltic overlay over an existing road is a big talk to warrant why he wants to be president. It should be something that brings a new thinking, a new value to the people of this country. So many of them I can hand over to the media. In conclusion, my brothers and sisters, the NDC's record on infrastructure is unmatched, as I've already said. As we speak, there's a growing concern about the cost and value of infrastructure projects delivered under this government. A classical example is this. The NDC reconstructed the Awoshi-Pokwasi Road, which is a 15-kilometer road with an additional work on other roads amounting to 15 kilometers for around $120 million. The 15 kilometers is 8 lanes. So this idea that the Accra-Tema Motorway project is unseen before is neither here nor there. In any case, 4 of the lanes of the 10 lanes we want to build already exist, which is the 2 lanes going to Tema and 2 lanes coming to Accra. And I maintain the Accra-Tema Motorway remains one of the best roads in our country. I agree that portions are damaged, but the good thing is that those portions that are damaged are in concrete, in expansion joints. You can actually remove those portions and replace them. And then you can build 2 slip roads by the side to increase the capacity of that road. The question is, even if you build Accra-Tema Motorway, 20 lanes on each direction, after you start and complete the motorway, where will you be going? You will still enter the traffic. So the solution is not to only increase the capacity on the motorway, the solution is to do deep thinking and to have the linkages that actually spread the traffic. That is why you see that when you are going to Tema today, you don't see any traffic at the Tema end of the motorway again, because once again President Mahama did the Tema end of the motorway interchange, of which NPP is continuing, and I'm sure when it's completed it will also enhance that. So the question is, when currently they said under the Motor Angels project, the project was PPP to be funded by Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. That fund is broke, doesn't have 1 cedi. And that project was $570 million for 19 kilometers. My brothers and sisters, the motorway itself is just 19 kilometers. It's the extension that will make it 27 kilometers. So how on earth is NDC able to do about 23 kilometers for $120 million? And we are now being told that 27 kilometers will have to be 570, which they brought to Parliament. What we approved is about $338 million. But government is saying on the day of the so-called sword cutting that the project will be $660 million. Somebody is not telling us the truth. Somebody wants to take our money. In any case, if the project was 570 million under PPP, i.e. Motor Angels was supposed to borrow money, pay interest. Now that Motor Angels is out of the project, ask yourself, if government of Ghana is the one paying for the project, why is it still 570 million, now moving to 660 million? I call on the government to immediately tell the public why the same project under PPP is costing the same amount of money when Ghana government is the sole funder of the project now. The Accra-Tema motorway is not a PPP. It is a direct government contract. The contractor is only constructing. The contractor is not a developer funding the project. So once again, if we don't open our eyes, the NPP will take $570 million and give us something that is worth $200 million. We've seen it before and we will need to work on this. My brothers and sisters, in conclusion, the motorway itself is in a condition that needed to be improved. But I don't believe this is the best way to do it. I've already talked about our record on schools and education, our record on health, our record on ports, our record on healthcare and everything. There's no record in this country under the 8 years of President Mahama and Bawumia that can match President Mahama's record on infrastructure, cutting-edge infrastructure at the time that you can get value for ourselves. That is why I said that the entire budget of President Mahama in 2016 was 50 billion. Today, as we speak, the indebtedness in the road sector alone is 100 billion Ghana cedis. The road sector alone, 100 billion. When in 2016, President Mahama under an IMF program was able to build the Tema Port, Ho Airport, Terminal 3 at Kotoka, start the phase 2 of Kumasi, Tamale Airport and others. How come under this government, with $700 million, a billion Ghana cedis or so, they are unable to show any completed project started and completed? To conclude, fellow citizens, a vote for President Mahama is a vote for transformational infrastructure with enhanced value for money. I insist on value for money because the fact that you have awarded 100 billion cedis worth of project does not mean that we should be clapping for you, because the value of that could just be 1 billion. And I believe a vote for President Mahama would bring more infrastructure projects, create jobs, and enhance the 24-hour economy. And that is why I encourage everybody, vote for President Mahama and vote for all the parliamentary candidates of NDC around you to make sure that we get back to a stage where infrastructure means well for the people of this country. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right, another round of applause for the Minority Chief Whip. And you know, it's very irritating and annoying these days when you look at what is happening around us. And that is why even in discussing our manifesto, it is important that we do so within the context and against the background of the plutocracy going on, the lack of value for money going on, and how this government is shortchanging the people of this country. And they change the new paradigm shift that John Dramani Mahama and the NDC are promising. And that is why you saw Honorable Agbodza do that comparison. But just for those watching who would want to know some of the specific road projects, he may not have mentioned it, but it is in the script. We're going to share that with you, and we trust that through your platforms, the people of Ghana will get to know. But just a few of them. The Yendi, Sang, and surrounding catchment area roads will be done under the next John Mahama NDC government. The Sugakope transboundary system and the Peve and Hohoi systems will also be done. Savelugu, Pont Tamale, Diari, and surrounding areas, we're also going to work on that. In terms of road projects, we've spoken about the 3 Carriage Golden Triangle. That is Accra, Tema, Takoradi, Techiman, what we call the A3T highway. He's already spoken about the Golden Orbital Motorway, which is a novel intervention in the road sector. But aside that will be the Western Corridor, Elubo to Enchi to Sunyane, my hometown, to Wa to Hamele Road. Then the Pumakum Boko Boga Tumu Wa Road. Then Tamale to Yendi Road. Tamale Daboya Busunu Sola Chache Road. Then Sako Nakpanduri Bunkrubu Road. Then Yendi to Saboba to Wapuli, Tripone. All these road projects are captured black and white in our manifesto. In Kwanta to Pasa, for our brothers and sisters in the OT region, that one too will be worked on. Abrui, in Sawam, Adeso, Bodriase, Agona Swedro to Mankesim Road, Bunkrugu, Nangpanduli, Wale, Bawemia's hometown, which he has abandoned, to Riase to Wa Road will also be done. Brekum, Sampa, Banda Inkro, New Longoro, Kintampo, Prime will be done. Then Agogo, Dukosin, Anyenufu, Seneso, Atebubu Road will also be done. Keta, Denu, Ho, Have, Pandu, Urawura to Dambai Road. So here also, Yametra and Crown Kwanta, Doma Hinkro, then Chariburi, Bumbunu Road, then Kumasi to Anyang Kwanta to Cape Coast Road, then Asikuma Anum Gemini Road, and Abakrampa to Asundre Road. So these are specific road projects that the NDC is committing to. Very strategic, very critical to the transformational agenda of the NDC. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, we're going to take another presentation on an issue that is very dear to the hearts of many Ghanaians. An issue that is very dear to the hearts of President Mahama and especially our vice presidential candidate, Professor Nana Jenu-Pukwejiman. It's about business development. What will the next NDC Mahama government do to empower businesses, to support businesses, to create a congenial atmosphere for businesses to thrive, and through that, create sustainable, decent, well-paying job for the teeming unemployed people of this country? And to address that, address us on that is a spokesperson for business development, our sister Hajia Saajida Shiraz. A round of applause for her.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed comrades, ladies and gentlemen of the press, citizens of Ghana. My name, as he said, is Hajia Saajida Shiraz, and I'm the spokesperson for business development, trade and industry. The NDC 2024 Manifesto, which seeks to reset Ghana, as you know, is anchored on jobs, accountability, and prosperity. This makes business development for jobs a priority for the incoming NDC government. Ladies and gentlemen, we all bear the brunt of the unprecedented crisis Ghanaian businesses are facing today. We've seen the impact of the obnoxious taxation, the steep exchange rate, depreciation, the high interest rates, import duties and utility tariffs has had on Ghanaian livelihoods, businesses and jobs. The expropriation of the investment proceeds of Ghanaian businesses under the NPP debt restructuring program, for instance, has led to the collapse of several Ghanaian businesses and caused significant job losses and despair. We've also seen the relocation of multiple multinational companies to neighboring countries. Ladies and gentlemen, we see this and we live this. And as we say in Dagbang, where I am from, Samanwale. The incoming John Mahama-led NDC government, members of the press, in response to these exigent issues, that sets out to create a congenial business atmosphere and restore investor confidence, and to expand the indigenous entrepreneurial class by supporting Ghanaian-owned and led businesses for job creation. First, we commit to ensuring a stable monetary and macroeconomic environment for businesses to thrive. In furtherance of this, the incoming John Mahama government promises to ease the tax burden on businesses by scrapping the COVID levy, the e-levy, and the emissions levy, among others. We intend to rationalize import duties, fees and charges, and to reduce the cost of doing businesses. We will provide tax incentives, financing support, security services, and cheaper and reliable power for businesses operating under the 24-hour economy. We intend to provide tax breaks and low-cost financing for strategic startups and micro, small, medium enterprises. In consonance with this, we will exempt new small businesses from paying corporate and personal income tax for the first 2 years after incorporation. We also intend to provide agro-production support services for MSMEs by linking them to our agro-industrial zones, and we intend to enhance the role of Exim Bank in financing non-traditional exports and international trade generally. To promote the production and consumption of made-in-Ghana goods, fellow citizens, we implement a made-in-Ghana agenda. Under this initiative, we will leverage government spending power for the procurement of made-in-Ghana goods and undertake public education campaigns to reorient Ghanaians to patronize made-in-Ghana products. We will also launch an export Ghana policy to expand access to markets for made-in-Ghana goods under the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement regime and other external trade programs. Under our export Ghana policy, ladies and gentlemen, we will promote quality assurance standards and strategic partnerships and networking to enhance the competitiveness of made-in-Ghana products on the international market. We will also diversify Ghanaian exports by expanding our export offerings, promoting strategic products, and ensuring value addition. To mitigate gendered barriers to entrepreneurship for Ghanaian women, our running mate has spoken extensively on this. We will establish a Women's Development Bank to support women-owned and women-led businesses with low-interest loans and other tailored financial services on very flexible terms. We intend to implement the Ejumawura program, and this is a special business startup policy aimed at facilitating the creation, tracking, and mentoring of a minimum of 10,000 businesses annually, with a special focus on young people. Through our National Apprenticeship Program, ladies and gentlemen, we will provide free technical and vocational training for young people in various crafts, and in addition to certification, we will support these apprentices with startup capital and equipment to set up their businesses. Many of us young people sitting here would identify with this program. Fellow citizens, the next NDC government would also implement comprehensive and far-reaching reforms under our Ghana Framework for Industrialization, Revitalization, Support and Transformation, which we call Ghana First flagship program. Under our Ghana First program, we will accelerate manufacturing growth for economic development and jobs. We will empower trade to drive national prosperity. We will promote exports to expand global market reach, and we will structure and formalize the informal economy for sustainable economic development and to enhance the business environment for seamless operations. Friends, ladies and gentlemen of the media, in addition to all of these, we will review the Customs Amendment Act to scrap the law banning the importation of salvage vehicles to save the local automotive industries at Swami Magazine, Kokompe, Abosokai, among others, from collapse. We will leverage green technologies for entrepreneurship by promoting the assembly and use of electric vehicles and clean energy for commercial and residential use. We will reduce bureaucracies, promote transparency, simplify administrative and regulatory processes, and uphold the rule of law to create a friendly investment climate. We will promote capacity building in entrepreneurship to enhance the management and profitability of businesses in Ghana, and we intend to revitalize business development centers in all districts in Ghana to support local business development and growth. Friends of the media, the next NDC government recognizes the significance of the private sector in job creation and will leverage private sector expertise and investments to, and please, for those listening, these are investment opportunities for you to pay attention to. We will leverage private sector expertise and investments to, 1, promote technology-based businesses such as app development, e-commerce platforms, fintech, and other digital services. We will establish strategic organic waste processing plants for energy and fertilizer production in partnership with the private sector. We will set up manufacturing units for consumer goods, textiles, and building materials, and we will facilitate the manufacturing of simple and power tools. And finally, would enhance transportation and logistics services within the country and sub-region. There are many other identified business opportunities you can get if you peruse our manifesto. Ladies and gentlemen, we would also facilitate investment opportunities for communities, local projects, and by streamlining, ensuring a stable market, and broadly improving the ease of doing business. To you, ladies and gentlemen, I by no means exhaustive, and I would entreat all of us to engage with the full to read how the incoming NDC government proposes to improve the business ecosystem. Permit me, however, to summarize and re-echo what President John Dramani Mahama makes as commitment to the Ghanaian people under the business development sector. President John Mahama promises that under his government, businesses will thrive. He guarantees that every Ghanaian, regardless of age, ethnicity, religion, or how they vote, and this is important, will have a fair access to public support services. He promises that under his government, women who are the backbone and nurturers of our economy will have access to financing, and he pledges that there's great opportunity for private enterprise growth, and that if you can conceive it, the next government under his leadership will help you to achieve it. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much.
Wow. She said that President Mahama promises that under his leadership, businesses will thrive. That is very profound, because businesses are suffocating under the yoke of the bad policies and the excessive taxation that they've been subjected to by this insensitive Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. And so President Mahama is promising something totally different. And that is what our sister just took us through. And for me, what got my attention, which is worth highlighting over and over again, are the crippling, draconian taxes that John Mahama is coming to abolish. COVID levy, there hasn't been much talk about that, but we need to amplify it. Ghana is the only country in the world today charging its citizens COVID-19 levy, almost 2 years after COVID has subsided. And President Mahama is saying that that is unacceptable. He's coming to scrap it. The e-levy too will be scrapped. And forget about the fact that someone too is promising to scrap it. If President Mahama had the power to scrap it today, he wouldn't defer it because he needs a manifesto, or because he will not have anything to do tomorrow if he scraps it. If President Mahama had the power, he would have scrapped it today. That is something that is worth noting. So emissions levy, e-levy, COVID levy, betting levy, and more importantly, the reforms she spoke about, of the VAT, very important. We want to exempt micro and small businesses from paying VAT. We want to abolish the 3% VAT flat rate and introduce a standard uniform VAT, administration system. And the sweetener is a 2-year tax holiday for new micro and small businesses, because we want them to have a certain respite, sound peace of mind, if I can put it that way, to establish themselves properly before they begin to pay corporate taxes and personal income taxes. And these are policies that we believe will create the necessary congenial atmosphere for businesses to thrive. Because let's face it, Nivea is gone, Lipton Tea is gone, Big Pen is gone, Glovo is gone, Jumia Foods gone. All these businesses are leaving Ghana, and they are not going to the United States of America, No, they are not going to first world countries. They are leaving to Nigeria. They are leaving to Cote d'Ivoire. They are leaving to next door Togo. That should tell you that Ghana has lost its place of pride as a preferred destination for FDI and business investments. And that is what John Mahama and the NDC are promising to bring back. And finally, to emphasize that the Women's Development Bank is something that we will need you, the media, to trumpet. First of its kind, a clear game changer that is going to ensure that Ghanaian women are able to rise again. And for me, the catch there is that all the workers will be women. It's important that we stress that. Shamima is very particular about that. The gender people are very particular about that. The bank managers will be women. The tellers, the staff, the board members, in fact, the drivers and security personnel will all be women. Because we believe in the capacity of the woman, the Ghanaian woman, to manage, their own affairs. So with these few words, we thank our sister Saajida for that beautiful presentation on business development. We are now moving to the last subject for today, a very important subject, because you can have all the brilliant policies, all the far-reaching, well-thought-through policies for infrastructure development, for business development, and what have you. But without good governance, without combating and controlling corruption, you will go nowhere. Because that actually is our bane. Waste, profligacy, opulence, greed, selfishness, naked thievery, and corruption. And John Mahama is promising a new paradigm shift. You heard him speak about some of the key policies that he'll be rolling out to promote good governance and to combat corruption. But today, the Son of Man will be taking us into the details of our policies. You know who the Son of Man is? The ranking member for scandals, and the member of parliament for the good people of North Tongue. I think he's doing a yeoman's job, not only for his constituency, but for Mother Ghana. With a round of applause, let's welcome Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa to the microphone.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Sami Jemfi, and let me commend the previous speakers who have very diligently and inspiringly dealt with the manifesto, and how beautiful is it to observe that we in the NDC, we continue to engage the Ghanaian people on sound policies. We are a party of ideas, and any time we are engaging the Ghanaian people, it is about our manifesto. We do not go into hallucinations about who is killing what pastor, who is demolishing mosques, and all of that. We don't engage in those hallucinations. We speak to ideas, we speak to our manifesto, and we speak to the forward march of our country. As has been indicated, we are very deliberate in our manifesto about promoting good governance and combating corruption. All of what has been discussed, if we do not have a leader who will anchor every other sector